Hi. This is Merlin. This is day three of 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 making a video. What I learned today. So actually, I learned something today. So I faced the problem and I tried to solve it, but I was not able to solve it. But still, I tried, man. I'm gonna. But I. So what I'm trying to say is, I'm gonna talk about how I faced the problem. How did I try to solve it? So here's the thing: you have a constant, you have some kind of constant in constant file, and this constant file, you have a constant file like this, constant file like this, and the question is, and the question is, you have a page or component, right? In if you're like front-end developer, inside the components, inside of these huge components, sorry, that's too big. So if inside this component there will be like some kind of like a component and B component and C component. So you have, but the thing is that this is here, this is the background, and the thing is that you have to change. So these are the reference. So these components are referencing this constant file. So, but the thing is that these are hard coded, and if you wanna make a change, you have to change this constant file every time. So, and to solve this issue, you're gonna call API to fetch a data. So this is gonna be like hold on. So this kind of this kind of server is here. Server will be here, and these are the client part. This is the client part. This is the front end. This is the front end. So this hard code that you're gonna call the API. So if you're gonna call the API, so this is gonna be like, so example, this is the data. So these are the data. So you call the API and you fetch it in the front end here. So this is gonna be like, it's gonna be like this. The thing is that if you wanna make a change this file, you cannot make this file. Why? Because the thing is that if you call API, but if it's not in the component, not in component, you're gonna somehow throw the error, right? Not in the component. That's gonna be like kind of be difficult to manage, because if there's error, client error, the whole file is gonna be fucked up. So there should be try catch, but that is not we want to do. So my first step was use the global state like recoil. So my first is use global state like recoil to solve this. But actually, if you use the global state, you have to. The thing is that you have to change this. These gonna be changes. You have to change this because you cannot. Why? You cannot declare the the state outside the component. So this should be here. Or you want to make a hook and put it here. That means you have to change this file. And my second was I tried to, and the second was I tried to call API and make into constant and put it and use fs and make into constant. The thing is while build but the thing is that the problem of this, if you're just building, it means that you're not in the application part, which means that there's gonna be like authentication error. And my approach was the first and second and third, and the throw the L. Those are but my third error was third one is why don't I use some kind of why don't I use another thread to fetch the constant from API. Why? So because you cannot. So the first is because when you're trying to use the main thread, you have to declare the API functions in the constant file, but there's can be some error, and you have to write the try catch, but it is not helpful because you have to manage the error, and that is kind of not into constant file, the meaning of the constant file. Mine is use another thread to fetch the constant from API and inject API and inject it into constant file. So how do I do it? So I choose this kind of stuff, and I use web worker. So so this is how it goes. You have an application. So you have a this is main thread. This is main thread. This is main thread. and these are resources. Example HTML, and this is like bundle JS, bundle 1 JS, bundle 2 JS. So here's the thing. What I really want, so I use eventually I use web worker to fetch the, so this is main thread, this is helper, this is web worker, helper thread, also as a helper thread, also as web worker. So I call API, and I changed API, and if API is, I get the API, I store in the constant, but I store in the variable, and I use, I put event listener on it, I inject it in the bundle.js. So this is so weird, and I was like, does it possible? Does it even possible? So let's use ChatGPT learn it. I used web worker to fetch data and send it and put it on my application, and put it on my variable. Does it blocks rendering? Yeah, but yeah, it doesn't block the rendering. But my question is, what if after the finish you have to send this variable, right? How about, yeah, I mean, I have to send the data back to main thread, right? Exactly. So what if, so what happens in the moment the web worker thread passes data to main thread? I mean, in the rendering perspective. So I still don't get it. Draw image, draw example of it. Oh, this takes a little long. So my question is, no, just use diagram. I don't fucking get it. Yeah, I mean make a simple diagram for explain. Web worker. That's nice. So web worker box is represent the web worker thread, and after the computation data is ready, it uses post. It sends the the this the main thread using post message, right? And this data from the web worker branch is the event queue. So my question is, what is event queue in browser? So this is, I mean, example, I use web worker inside of React app, and of course it bundles, right? So my question is, how it sends data to how does it send the data? It is already bundled, right? It can't change. How does the waterfalls looks like? I'm so sorry, but I have to study. I wasn't able to study, so this is how it goes. So main bundle loads and worker JS load, and this API data processing the worker and post events and re-renders and re-renders. So I think I have to discuss this about like tomorrow. But actually I use trigger option rather than render. So I'm gonna show you how to maintain this kind of diagram. Okay, see ya.